Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Let me see what's saying. Something going on here. Okay. I guess we're live. I'm getting a message that says we may have an error. So if you have an opportunity to drop me in the chat, let me know you can hear me, and I'll just keep on moving, right? Anyway, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Geoff. I got to tell you, I was just talking to our upcoming guest backstage, and man, he's a dear friend. He's got a powerful message. You know, he's a corporate guy that's had, corporate experience and an entrepreneur managing over 150 people. He's changed the lives of so many folks along the way. And, he's had the gift of starting a business, with his wife, married couple, and we're going to be doing some workshops around that. So you just definitely want to hang out here today if that's you. If you're thinking about, I got to do something different. Maybe it's corporate America that you're ready to leave, or start your own business, or even staying in corporate America, and how you do that successfully. Hanging around here, you don't want to miss an upcoming guest, because my friend Bobby G is going to lay it out for you in a way that anybody can take with his message right now, today, and begin a new journey in your life, right? And that's the whole purpose around Conversations with Geoff, with our guest. And those are bringing folks in here to talk about real life situations that are vulnerable and share their experience. What is that? Common folks with powerful messages, right? That make sure they come and deliver the best that they can. So everybody out there is looking for something, a community to belong to, looking for some guidance along the way on those paths when you take that turn and you do something different, right? So please, thank you folks that have been following us, and share this message, subscribe and share it now. Get your friends in here, tag your friends so you don't miss it. And if you're watching this recording, do the same thing. Hey, this is a recording, love the message. Hey, want more information, you're gonna get that from him. Please participate. That's how we have this conversation, through the chat. So blow up the chat, let us know where you're from, what you find out to be so important for you, and more importantly, most importantly, subscribe to this channel and be part of our journey. All right. So, hey, a couple of things that I want to make sure I talked about. The other thing is, we've been talking about affiliates and opportunities to be part of our journey that way, and our sponsorship. So we're going to close that window at the end of this month. We do have some folks we're talking to, so there is still a few opportunities left for you to join in that capacity. Just hit me up. My email information is in the chat. Make sure we get that information, right? So let us know when you are coming from in the chat, if you would, as well. And hey, be a part of this. Blow the chat up. Let us know what's happening with you. All right. Hey, I'm feeling this. I'm not feeling it, right? All right. So, and then lastly, speaking opportunities, power of the comeback, right? And many of you may not know, my first working life was about 20 years in corporate America, some major organizations, and a lot of strategic planning and management leadership. And then 25 years as an entrepreneur. So I blend all those things together, and I bring the employer and the employee back to the table. And we look at the power of the comeback and some key things. One of them I'll talk about just briefly, and that's communication, an open, honest level of communication where they can really, that employee that says, hey, I was going to take the leap during the COVID, what was that, that revolution everybody's leaving, or, hey, I really want to stay now. I've done some things wrong. You guys know it, but we can work together on doing something to move you forward. If that's you and you're that employee looking for some guidance, or that employer that likes to invest in their people through training and education, reach out and talk to them. We've got some really great things. And most importantly, my experiences have told me that I'm meant to do this. So please check it out, right? So anyhow, my name is Geoff Tyson. I am the host of Conversations with Geoff. And I'm known as the Comeback King. And I got that name early on in my life, from overcoming athletic challenges and academic challenges to, the corporate world and making a success in that. And then going through a divorce and then still stepping forward, right? Take one step forward each time we get set back. And then, recently with, making some changes in my real estate business and some bad calls, some bonehead decisions. It's cost me some things and other folks around me. So, and what do I do there? And then most recently in a health space, because Conversations with Geoff, we focus on community, we focus on health, we focus on the wealth and all those categories that fall underneath that. And, today is, I think, the third week removed from my prostate surgery. And why am I talking about that? Because, hey, you know, there's some mind chatter going on in my recovery process, right? That same stinking thinking that I talk about you guys becoming aware of. We talk about you guys looking at your state based off of that and changing your story. Man, mine, you know, is around this rehab process, right? There's things I got to do that, you know, require me to make sure I'm disciplined to do if I want to have some better results in my life in other areas. And one that I know we all can relate to is the physical part, the walking, the weightlifting limitations. And I got to tell you, you know, and when they tell me don't lift more than 10 pounds, you know, that's hard for me to listen to, you know, and because I'm used to lifting a whole lot more of that and aggressive. So I go through that whole thing, man, you know, are you ever going to be able to do that again? Is this all you're going to be able to do? Right? That stinking thinking. I'm not immune to that, man. This stuff is real. What we're talking about here today is real stuff, right? And then the walking, you know, I've been doing it now for about a week and a half. And I got to tell you today, walking and getting on a stationary bike. And I got to tell you today, you know, I was getting it down, baby. Right. You know, I was on the bike. I did 10 miles in, you know, 30 minutes or something and at a decent level. So I'm telling you that to let you know that I am not immune to the chatter, the stinking thinking. But I know if I listen to that, how my day is going to be. And I refuse to let that happen. Because look, we all have three things that happen to us. We have three conversations. One with self. The other one was those two knuckleheads that sit on each side of our shoulders, right? And so which one are you listening to today? Are you listening to the one that says, I can't, maybe, I don't feel like it, I don't like that, whatever that is? Or are you listening to the other one that says, I can, I will, and I must, and let's do it now. Let's do it right now. So look, I got to tell you, you got homework. What word are you using? What phrase are you using? Is it helping you or is it holding you back? Man, perspective. As I close this session up, perspective. What is your perspective like? Because the situation can be the same. If you're out of gas on the highway and it's 100 degrees, hopefully that never happens. What's your perspective? I'm going to die. I don't have any water, right? Or, hey, look, I know I'm in a bad situation, but I believe someone's going to come along, someone's going to help me out of this situation. How you change your perspective, you can change your life. The situations don't ever really change. It's what you do about it, right? All right. All right, so remember what one word you're going to do that you need to change, and then let's get to that word. Let's get to that word. So right now, let me just go over, now I'm going to read this, the short bio of our next guest coming up. You know, Bobby Giambelluca, better known as Bobby G, grew up in Buffalo, New York. After college, moved out to snow and cold, and moved into Arizona. Bob's passion is making a difference in people's lives, one life at a time, reminding us that every day we start with two choices. You got to check his daily motivations out, too. Two choices. We can choose to have a great day or not. Our days and our lives are a summary of the choices we make. Bob worked in the newspaper industry as a corporate-level VP, handling due diligence for 21 years. After many years of travel and living in multiple cities, Bob took a buyout. Listen to me when I say that. At a time in which he and his wife opened a new business. That's what we're talking about, that whole buyout piece. As a 20-plus year entrepreneur with 3 businesses, over 150 employees, Bob's focus is on mentoring and guiding his various teams, helping them find their strengths and become a better, stronger version of themselves. During some of those years, his path has led him to work with people who need second chances. And everybody needs a second chance, right? And with his positive guidance, passion, and heart, he's been able to help them find their way personally and professionally. During that time, Bob became certified as a mentor, coach, speaker in the John Maxwell organization and part of Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins coaching team, 2 of the best guys at this self-development piece of business and private. And anyway, Bob has also served as COO for a California nonprofit serving the homeless communities. Bob loves the outdoors and cycles and hikes in his free time. He also motorcycles, but in recent years, the pedaling has become more of a choice for adventurers. He's a happily married man. He's a papa. He's also a loving husband, as it says, and the father of 3 children and 2 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the conversations with Geoff. Please, please, please make sure you're sitting down and checking this out. My friend, Bobby G.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Bob?
Hey, man, how you doing today?
Oh, doing fantastic, man. Glad you're here today. Gonna light up the world for us. So I appreciate it, and I know you're a busy guy, so we feel very fortunate to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. I love watching your conversations. I always walk away with value, so I appreciate you being me here, and I pray that I'm giving value to everybody today.
Oh, man, I already told him, I said, with your daily motivations, and I encourage him to go check that out, to all the other things you've done, Bob. Man, you always, and the beautiful part about you is that you just show up being Bob. It's consistent. I can count on one thing, and that's Bob being there. And no matter how your day is, you live what you talk about.
Thank you.
It's clear that you make choices, and that choice is to step into your life and be your best person. So, Steph, saying hi to you, and
hey, Steph.
Appreciate everybody here today on this thing. So Bob, man, there's a whole lot in what I read about your bio and all of that. And what's going on with Bob today?
Well, I'm just out there, and I'm trying to make a difference in the lives of others and in the world that surrounds me. I pray every day that God uses me in a way to go ahead and share His word and sing His praise and make a difference in those that are around me. I'm just here to go ahead and do that, and I'm trying to expand that outside of the circle that I helped during my corporate and my private entrepreneurial days.
Yeah, and that's good, because I know in talking to you, it's really important for you to kind of, and I love this, and those of you out there, pay attention. You talk about clearing the clutter.
Yeah.
And building, gaining a clear and open mind. So, but you weren't always that way.
No, I wasn't always that way, man. And, we all went through it. You went through it. We talked before, I was in the corporate world, man. I was chasing the golden ring.
Yeah.
I was like, what's next? Yes, it did cost me my first marriage. You know what I mean? And, I was more chasing the ring than I was chasing the family life. And it was all about me, and what I can do more of, and how much more can I gain, and what kind of car can I drive, and all that type of stuff. And then eventually, I met the absolute love of my life, Susie. You hear me talk about her all the time. Yeah. We're married 32 years.
Yeah.
32 years, man. She's just a blessing. She's just a beautiful, beautiful person. And it all changed. It all clicked, man. It ain't about me. It ain't about me. It's about everyone else that's around me. It's about the difference I can make in the world, the difference I can make in the lives of others.
Yeah.
And part of that was growing up Italian, man. I'm telling you, I've been blessed, man. My family, my parents were married till the day they both passed. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up, Geoff. It was amazing when I grew up. There'd be many times I'd come down from upstairs, coming down, when I was going to go to school or something like that, and I'd walk in and there's strangers sitting at the kitchen table. My mom and dad are having coffee with them, and they're talking with them and all this other stuff, and they'd leave, and I'd go like, "Who is that?" And my mom would go, "Oh, that was the garbage truck driver. Him and his helper were cold, so I invited him in for a cup of coffee."
Man.
And I'm like, "Really?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, they were just cold, so I invited him in to have a cup of coffee."
Wow.
And that happened time and time again. So it took me a lot of years to realize it myself. Yeah. But my parents didn't only, profess or say to make a difference. They lived it every single day. I was seeing it every single day, but it didn't hit me until later in life.
Well, but you know what, though, Bob, man, you think about that, and that's why I always talk about parents. Listen, you have one shot to be the example for your kids, because they do what they see, not what you tell them, right? And it takes us a while to get there, to get that peace, right? And for the longest, man, I was like, man, getting up and going through and getting punched in the face and getting back up just didn't matter, didn't stop me, right? Well, where did I get that from? And later on, I'm like, my parents, like you talk about, right? They set the example for us, man. They made the things necessary for us to believe in ourselves and never stop fighting and have goals and dreams. So I can see it now. Your mom inviting them in, and I would imagine being that garbage guy sitting down talking to your mom. She probably was just chatting it up,
100%, man, 100%. And you know, you talk about that journey, that opportunity we have as a parent. I mean, as you read in my bio, I got 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and actually I got 1 grandkid on the way. My youngest daughter's due in November, so we're really, really excited about that. But you share that, and you know, just like you also shared too, you know, we all go through those challenges in life, the stinking thinking, you know, that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, where am I? And I remember one day, man, I was working on a program, I was working on something to go ahead and help one of my students. And my son comes over to visit, and I'm sitting here in this office at home, and I'm like, oh man, I can't do this. Oh man, they're not going to understand. They're not going to like this. It's not going to be good. Blah 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 blah. And my son comes in and he goes, hey man, what's going on? And I just like unloaded, man. I just like let it out, and I said all the same things. I said, Nick, I'm trying to do this, and it just ain't working, and it's just not doing. And he goes, he goes, stop. And I'm like, what? And he goes, what have you always taught us? What have you always tried to teach us? Do your best. Be your very best. Be true. Be authentic, and you will make a difference. You know, I had to stand back and smile and go like, well, you know what? I just got called out by my kid.
That's it.
So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was like, he really did listen to me when he was growing up.
He listened to you, Bob, man, and he's living it. You know, I mean, he pulled that up because that's part of his mentality.
Exactly. And he brought it right back out to me now. And, you know, just when you hit those moments, as you said, as a parent, you can see this right here, man. It just touches the heart. It makes you smile, and it lets you know I am doing something right. I'm doing what God wants me to do.
Yeah, you're doing what needs to be done. So in parenting, man, I take my hats off. So any parents out there or have kids that are parents, you know, I mean, the word came to me this morning, and there's a great book, Hung by the Tongue. You know, it's an old book. It's an easy read. It's real small, and it talks about using velvet words in our communication with our loved ones, with our strangers, with our kids. You know, because we only have one chance at saying something to somebody. You know, and we're either going to inspire them and encourage them, or we're going to leave an impression that you wish you never left. You know, and so I want to get back on subject. Obviously, this is something near and dear to both of us. I appreciate you participating, but I want to get back to you being that guy, that corporate. I called you yesterday when we were discussing kind of the hatchet man, which I was too in corporate.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know, now the corporate word is riff, right? And so, but then you found something, and you said something yesterday about gaining a clear and open mind and having a patient and compassionate heart.
Compassionate heart, yes, sir. Yes, sir. As I shared with you yesterday, I was that corporate guy. Part of my journey in the corporate world, I was part of a due diligence team. So we were always planning and looking at how to increase the bottom line, increase the efficiency, reduce the expenses of the corporation that I was a VP for. Mm-hmm. We had it was in the newspapers. We had papers all around the country. And I used to go in and, you know, unfortunately, when you're hitting that, when you're trying to hit those metrics that I just talked about, unfortunately, a lot of things that happen is there's less people there when you leave than there were when you began. Yeah. So you're coming in and if you can't tell anything about our conversation right now, man, I work from the heart. You know, I get to know people. I get to engage with people, and I was changing lives in ways that just were against my inner grain. So, you know what I mean? They just were against what I grew up with. And I think I shared you this story. The last newspaper before I took my buyout, I came in, and I remember I walked into the newspaper one day, and I had 10 people that we had to let go that day. I had 10 people, and I never made my managers do it on their own. I would always work with them and help them do it. So I remember I was getting ready and getting prepared, and I was working with my local manager trying to get things going, and I stood up in my office, and I started talking. All of a sudden I went, man, and I sat down. And I stood up again, and then I went, man. And I sat down a second time. Happened to me a third time. And my manager that was there, he looks at me and he goes, dude, you don't look good. And I said, dude, I do not feel good. Yeah. He goes, man, you need to go down there. The hospital's just 2 blocks up, man. You need to go and get checked out. I'll take care of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right. And I went to the hospital, and as I tried to share with you yesterday, I'm in the emergency room, and they got me wired for sound. They got things all over me. My pager's over on one side and it's going off, and my cell phone's on the other side and it's going off. And the doctor looks at me and he goes, "What do you do for a living?" So I shared that with him, and he looked at me again and he goes, "You need to change professions." I'm like, oh, okay. So as I said, when I got home that night, unfortunately or fortunately, either way you want to look at it, I didn't call Susie and tell her what I was going through during the course of the day. But that gentleman, that my manager that I told you that I was working with, he did call the house, and he asked Sue, he goes, "Hey, is Bob okay?" And she goes, "What are you talking about?" So when I walked in the door, when I finally got released from the hospital, and I walked in the door, she goes, "Number one, I'm glad you're okay." She goes, "Number two, I want to kill you myself." She goes, "Number three, you're changing jobs." And that's when we decided, like I said earlier, that's when the click happened. I decided that I wasn't going to go ahead and focus my journey on making someone else's bottom line better.
Yes.
At the cost of everything.
Yes.
Susie and I decided at that moment we were going to start our own business, and we were going to be investing in people. And we knew that if we invested in the people, they would take care of the clients who would wind up bringing the profits to the organization.
Yeah.
And like you shared in the beginning, I did that for 23 years with 150 people in 3 different types of companies.
Yeah.
The best journey of my life, the best. It made more of a difference, I think, in my life than I was able to make in theirs.
Yeah, I got to give you something, though. I mean, you just don't know what the impact of the lives you have as you travel through their lives. So I'm sure, even though your agenda was different then, I'm sure that Bobby G that we see today was still there sometimes.
I think I shared with you one of the gentlemen I had to let go, because I get to know people, man. Yeah. One of the gentlemen I had to let go, I think I shared with you yesterday. I played Santa Claus for his kids.
Yeah.
Because I played Santa Claus every Christmas. I've been playing Santa Claus since I was 15 years old, man. And I played Santa Claus for his kids, and just 3 months later, I got him in the office, and I'm giving him a buyout.
Yeah. Ooh.
So that's not only affecting him, that was affecting those 2 kids and his wife that I knew that were behind him.
Yeah.
You want to talk about hitting you hard? Yeah. Dude, not the way I wanted to be.
Well, and we all find ourselves in that crossroads, and like, we've been talking about it, and you are at that crossroads, and there's people that get in that. I just talk about work for a minute. There's people that are in that workspace, and they really are like, oh man, Shasta, thanks for stopping in and showing us some love. I appreciate that. They're where do I go? What do I do? In your situation, you came to that crossroads, and I'll let you talk this short story around it, but you structured something that allowed you to leave kind of with a parachute. And I know you and I have been talking about, with folks that are still ready to leave corporate America, but just don't know how. When you look back now and you had that fork in the road, and you guys made that pivot, what can you share about, just briefly, about something that someone that might be in that space that's ready to leave corporate America, married, kids, and now want to start that dream business? What can you what was one thing that hey man, if you're going to do this, if somebody was there to tell you, when you made the decision, what would that be for folks?
I tell you that, you're doing on all 3 of those items that you just talked about: husband, parent, raising a family. My daughter, the youngest daughter at the time, was only 5 years old when we decided to do this. So the biggest challenge, I mean, when you go into this aspect, I mean, obviously I had my wife, my love of my life, along with me on this journey. The biggest challenge is financial, to be perfectly honest with you. I was blessed. I was able to orchestrate a buyout, and I got paid for a period of time after I left the organization. Not everybody's going to be in that way. So you need to make sure that you have some financial resources that are going to help you move forward through that journey, because there's going to be a lot of months you're not going to see any money. There's going to be a lot of months that what you're making is going right back into the business and trying to build it. I mean, Susie and I started with 10 employees. We were 2 of the 10. I had to remodel a complete building. Didn't know a thing about it, but I sure learned. I became a good gopher. I had a buddy who was a general contractor, and he would say, Bob, go get this, go get that. I was the gopher, man. I went and got all the stuff for him and learned how to do all that stuff. But you have to learn to be resourceful. You have to learn to not reach out to borrow funds because it takes that much more to go ahead and have to pay them back. You have to build that you have to prepare and build that. Those decisions to move out of corporate and into entrepreneurial, trust me, man, if I had a choice to do it again, I'd do it all over again.
Yeah.
I probably would have done it earlier in my career.
Yeah.
But you have to be prepared to do it because that preoccupied about the funds is going to take your vision off about building the company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I was blessed. I had a buyout, but people got to think about that. And I'm there to help you. If you need to talk about it, I can help you through that through team.
No, that's great, man. And we'll be putting some things back out in the marketplace where they'll have that opportunity. But I wrote down something while you were talking, and you said something. And this is for all, whether you're an employee or thinking about being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur now. Learn to be resourceful.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I would rather teach my children the power of being resourceful versus having all the resources they need to be wherever they want to be.
Yep.
You know, only because the gift of that grind, that whole, seeing what you're made of comes from that. You know, and many people don't make that cut.
No.
Right?
You know, one of the things I talk about and one of the things I teach is confidence, self-confidence, to build that self-confidence. And one of the things that you want to build that confidence, but you want to also have the humility to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Know what you don't know, accept what you don't know, and reach out to those that do know.
Yeah. So
they can help you to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I did that a lot. When I was in the corporate world and we were setting up offices and stuff like that, I had a guy back at the main office. I'd call him up and go, "Hey, Dutch, I need this. Hey, Dutch, I need more computers. Hey, Dutch, I need this. Hey, Dutch, I need that."
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it. When I got into my own gig, it was me and Sue and a phone. You know what I mean? And I'm talking to the local, who was it? It was US West was the telephone company at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get T1s, which I had no knowledge of, into my call center. And they're telling me stuff, and I'm going like, okay. So what I did next is I called Dutch. I said, "Yo, Dutch, buddy, this is what I'm trying to do." He goes, "Well, tell them this." So I had the phone in the other hand going, "Well, I need this." And then okay, Dutch, they told me this. Okay, I'll tell them that. Okay, I need this. Susie's got pictures of me with 2 phones in my, The point is, be humble enough to understand what you don't know.
Yeah.
Accept what you don't know.
Yeah.
Learn to be resourceful to find it out.
Yeah, man. And that's so as we kind of wind this thing down, that's so important, man. Because you when you have someone like that, they'll be able to have answers to the questions that you don't know you're going to have when that comes up.
Yep.
And so I really appreciate you sharing that, Bob. Man, we've already got my time is just zooming.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. Okay.
So how do people get a hold of you? I know I'll put your information in the chat. I think it should be there. Let's see. Yeah, it's in there. But just how do people get a hold of you? Do you have anything?
Well, obviously my journey through corporate and entrepreneurship and through my coaching, I've been really blessed in my life. And you know what? I help people. If you're struggling with mind clutter, with chaos, with the lack of self-confidence, I'm here. I've been there. I can help you. If the what ifs of life are choking you, if you can't sleep at night because the what ifs are just going crazy in your mind, been there, done that. You can reach me at bob@differencemakeraz.com. It's bob@differencemakeraz.com. I see Geoff put it in the chat. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to clear and solve the what ifs in your life, because I've been there. I've experienced it. I've done it. The gray hair shows you I got a few years. Those experiences.
So yeah, so listen, I encourage everybody to it's in that space, to be on the lookout, because both of us leaving corporate America, and he being married and me being single, and really for those of you out there that may not, you just are fed up, because people do changes for two things. It's either pleasure or pain that forces them out of what they do to make them do that next thing. So we're being on the lookout for some opportunities to be part of maybe some workshops that we'll have that will kind of bring both of those sides in and do that. And Bob, I want to thank you for just coming, like I said from the beginning, showing up and being you. Any parting words that you want to leave us with?
Well, first I want to thank you and Stev for allowing me this time and sharing this moment with you. And I just want to let everybody remember, folks, our days and our lives are nothing, absolutely nothing, but a summary of the choices we make. Like Geoff said, what I say all the time, if you watch my videos, if you hit me on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere, I share every single day. We awake with two choices every single day. We can choose to have a great day or not. It's not rocket science. It's pretty darn simple. So I encourage you, go out there and make smart choices. Make the choice to have a great day. And I'm here to help you with those choices. Thanks, guys, for letting me be here today.
Well, thank you for being here, man, and look forward to our next episode and some of the things that we got coming up in the pipeline. Have a fabulous day. Thanks again for hanging out with us.
Thank you very much. God bless everybody. Take care.
All right. Take care. As I mentioned to you from the beginning, I didn't lie. I mean, just an easy, loving, caring guy that's got some messages for everybody that's looking to make a difference. Hey, Shasta, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And those of you that are going to hear the recording, make sure you let us know where you're from, and if there's some things in here that really helped you. If you need some more information on Bob or myself, please just hit me up. My information's in the chat. And as I wrap this up, I'm just going to make a decision. Let's decide to no longer be encumbered by self-doubt. That stinking thinking that we have. I want to tell you that, man, we are blessed with the ability to change that. And when I say that, I'm just going to tell you, like I always say, right? If you change your state, in other words, you change where you feel and how you're feeling, your energy and emotion, and you replace that funk with I can, place that funk with I must, place that funk with there's a possibility, I will. It works, man. Try it out. Try it out for a day. Let me know how it works for you. Spend the day saying, okay, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to take Geoff's challenge. I'm going to pay attention to how my day is from the start. Right now, I'm not feeling that well. Right now, I'm on fire, and I'm going to stay that way all day. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be an exhausting day if you really do it, but you're going to feel so much better because you're going to understand that you, too, can change your state, change your life. Stop this thinking. Right? Do it now. Let's do it now, not tomorrow. Let's do it now. So subscribe to this channel, replay this, go back and take some notes. And Stev and Shasta and those of you that I appreciate you supporting us. And let's go make it a great day. There's no better time than now to say I will. There's no better time than now to say I must. There's no better time than now to say nothing will stop me from reaching my destiny. I will not be denied. I believe in you. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.